Hello, beautiful human. You clicked on our conversation with Lauren Jauregui, and she's incredible. I think you're going to enjoy it. Leave your honest feedback in the comment section below. We got a podcast link in the description, and it'd be cool if you subscribed, and if not, it doesn't matter because we're still going to do what we do. Enjoy.
Let's do this. Zach Show.
Hey.
What's up?
Dude, good to see you.
Oh, there's a dog! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, so cute! I'll hold her.
Yeah. And it's Halloween, you know?
You're right.
I'm over here. Oh, shoot. All right. I took the hand out for no reason.
Dude, that was where you sat the last time, though.
I know.
That was it.
That was where I sat.
You were here a year ago.
Automatic went there.
It's like a muscle memory, kind
It's a
of
good thing
weird.
that I still don't fit on the couch. Dangling feet.
None of us do.
But it's all yours.
It is.
That couch belongs to you.
So.
Own it. An honor to have you here, dude.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here, dude.
It's pretty cool, really, just having you here.
Thanks.
You
It's
emit,
really nice being here.
you emit an energy, and that is a shirt that needs to be seen by everybody.
Yeah.
What does it say?
It says lover, fighter, dreamer, believer, voter.
Nice.
Voter.
It's almost time.
That's the most important word on that. Voter.
Absolutely the most important word.
5 things people should want to be, right? And
Right.
strive to be.
I agree.
Not always easy, you know?
No, definitely not. But I think they're good qualities.
They are. I mean, you
Try to
know,
aspire to be them as much as possible.
and you put it out there.
Yeah.
Do you believe, like, do you manifest things? Do you think about things? And, you know, when you're thinking about something, do you try to have it appear? Do you make it appear yourself? Like, how do you, where do you start? How do you like exude goodness?
I
almost?
think manifesting is kind of, because essentially manifesting is just taking ideas from an ether and then like bringing them to life in the present, because manifestation is just a combination of thought and action. So it's like technically I think it up, but also it doesn't really ever get done if I don't tangibly make it a reality by working however hard I need to accomplish something, or putting the right tools in place to accomplish something.
But by always thinking about it, it's present in your mind, so you kind of automatically do it.
Technically.
We were talking. You were here a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
The couch is all yours right now.
Tis me.
Killing it.
Thank you.
How is the Lauren Jauregui that sits on that couch today different than the Lauren that sat here a year ago?
She's brand new. I'm kidding. No, but for real, kind of. Yeah, I've just, this year has been an insane amount of exploration, like just kind of getting really deep down into my own heart and my own kind of things I've been through and things I've not really talked to myself about. Because, like I feel like a lot of us kind of like float through life and like we get to this point of numbness and we don't really know how we got there, but we're not really feeling as much. And that's to say, to the good things as much as the bad things, And then I noticed that when I lost touch of feeling, I lost my artistry. I lost myself and what I love to do, because I couldn't really get in touch with that anymore. Because feelings is what fuels it,
makes sense.
The
They're
emotion is what
connected.
fuels the art, exactly. So I've been just reconnecting with that and allowing myself to feel and allowing myself to kind of explore the different ranges in my mind.
What leads to that numbness? Is it monotony? Is it not engaging your brain that keeps you awake? Is it not facing new challenges on a daily? Like, what is it?
I think it's all of those things and more, you know what I mean? I think the numbness is kind of created as a coping mechanism to like all of the bombardment that we get in the world we live in right now. We're just constantly asked to be performative and constantly asked to be present and happy and nice and like giving, especially as a woman. So like it's just kind of exhausting after a certain point, especially when you're like in a monotonous kind of cycle where you don't feel heard, or you don't feel like you're expressing yourself, or you don't feel like you have any value to the situation you're in. It's just it's easy to just kind of like succumb to the numbness,
I totally understand, and it makes it hard to change because you realize you
get comfortable.
Yes, it's you get comfortable drowning.
Yeah, it's drowning, but then it's also like, again, just as much for the bad as there is the good. Like you kind of like create this whole entire like blanket over yourself from experiencing anything, you know? But it's also like keeps you away from having to really delve into yourself and work through your own shadows and your own bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
And take responsibility for that. A lot of us like to just be like, oh no, like deep down in my heart, I'm not that person. It's like, yeah, but your actions say that you are. So unless your actions are lining up with your heart, then who are you?
Well, that's the truth, right? Anybody can say anything, but
Yeah.
acting a certain way is what really makes the difference.
And I firmly believe that the majority of us are really good people in our hearts. I know it for a fact. We're all either broken to some degree, or we've been through some or we've been taught that a certain way is the right way to react or whatever it is. But again, we have total autonomy over our own beings and the way that we interact with the world around us.
And you bring up many good points, but realizing that we're all the same is step number one, right?
Yeah,
you know,
we all have hearts.
Dude, past, present, futures, we all have hearts. I mean, we're human beings. We share a planet, we share ideals. I mean, we're really one and the same. There's not many things that make us different, if anything, honestly. In the major
Scheme of things.
Yeah, but the major pillars that make humans, we actually end up sharing all those same things. So whether it's love and life and happiness and sadness, it's all shared. Whoa.
We went off there.
Love having you here already, man.
Expectations?
Dude,
Did we talk about expectations?
but it's all connected. You mentioned a blanket that you had, right? And that blanket that was kind of like a layer between you and everything else that was going on. And you have so many years behind you, good and bad things, but, you know, a lot of good stuff, a lot of major accomplishments. Did that blanket restrict you from understanding and kind of realizing and soaking in those great moments?
For a long time it did. And then I kind of snapped into a place where I was like, yo, like, be alive. Like, try to absorb what's going on. And even then, like, a lot of this stuff happens so quickly, you don't have time to absorb it. You know, you don't have time to process it.
Because you're on to the next.
You're on to the next. And if you're not on to the next, you're a flop. And it's like, you know, like, they don't give you time to breathe or enjoy what you're doing, or to even allow it to grow into something even anymore. It's like, if it didn't chart within the first 5 minutes of it being released, like, it's a flop.
Whatever.
Like, wait, what? I'm sorry. You know, half of the favorite songs that you have that are on the radio came out like 5 years ago. Like, and they're just finding it out. Like, and I was listening to that underground like 7 years ago. So
No timeline on music or art.
no, none at all. It's just a personal timeline. And that's what I'm learning. Like, I'm learning to detach myself from this whole like pop model of like you go and then you go real hard and then you spend this and you do that, and like everything is just like big and extravagant. Like, I'm kind of learning to delve out of that and more into just like a real authentic, like, creative process, and like just making sure that what I'm saying means some shit to me, and then hopefully that means something to someone else. And if you know, if for some reason a lot of people happen to catch on to one of the songs and it really resonates with them and it makes them feel something, then yeah, I did my job. But like, if it was just one person, I also did my job.
That's
you
it.
know.
But you also did it for you.
So well, one person being me.
That's. Was there a process that you had to go through finding your voice? Did you feel like you were silent post Fifth Harmony?
I was silent a lot in life. I'm still silent sometimes. I think, again, as a woman, I was trained to kind of subvert my real feelings for niceness and politeness to make sure that I didn't come across like too much of a bitch. And a lot of the time, that's what I was told I was, because I'm very assertive and I'm very opinionated, and I definitely know what I want. And so I spent a lot of years being deterred by a lot of voices telling me I didn't actually know what I wanted, and I actually don't know what I'm talking about because I'm too young, or I'm too frivolous, or whatever it is that, you know, people fix their mouths to tell me about me, you know. And it's just that noise never stops though. So sometimes I do listen to that voice, because sometimes it's people you love that are telling you that, you know, because you're constantly kind of a reflection of everyone around you. So when people see you succeeding, they automatically go into their shadow selves and they're like, no, why are you succeeding but not me, you know? And so you feel that pressure, and I'm very sensitive, so I take what people say personally sometimes, and like if I don't take it personally, I still note that they said it. You know what I mean? Or that's some sort of perception somebody has of me. It still bothers me, you
It'll
know?
affect the way you move.
You
and you
feel
act.
me?
Yes.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to learn
get
right
it.
now is to not let it affect the way I move anymore. For me to keep moving beeline to where I need to go, and for the like water, like a shark through water, you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
just let everything kind of like graze me the way it does, but not allow that to deter my path.
So you're saying you were the company you kept, right? You were forced to be around these people, and the way you perceived the outside world was kind of shaped by those
By
you
the
had
perceptions
around you.
around me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you couldn't even like come up with your own opinions or your own thoughts
Exactly.
And even though it was within you, you kept it shut because
Because I didn't have the proper outlet to express it.
what is it like? How do you prepare to get into the studio for the first time?
I didn't really prepare. I ended up in the studio the very first time that, I've been in different studios, but like there was like 4 or 5 like real pivotal like studio moments where I was going in to do something and then ended up doing something else and just talking to someone about life for a while. Got to know a lot about myself and what I felt I wanted to do. And then there's other moments where I was in rooms with people who I looked up to so much, who taught me about vulnerability in the artistic process, and that being okay and failure being okay before you get to what you really want. So that changed a lot of my approach. I've been in the rooms with different songwriters who have just taught me different techniques about how to approach subject matter and how to draw from it in a way that's authentic but not necessarily polarizing either, because art shouldn't feel, even though some art, it depends on the tone of what kind of art you want to make, but like some art should make people feel real uncomfortable, like absolutely should, but then other art should feel inviting and welcoming, just so that you can have different ways that you relay your message. So I've learned about that balance and going through those.
See, that's how you really make that. That's how art is impactful, right? If it gets you in and makes you feel welcoming, inviting, and then it hits you with something that you maybe weren't expecting or something you actually really deeply needed.
Yeah. I also love art though that hits you in a way that makes you feel mad.
Yeah.
Like I would love to write a song that I get death threats for one day. Like I know that sounds crazy, but that's the world we live in. We live in a world where people get death threats for standing up for like their human rights. So like I want to write a song that's that powerful enough that someone that unconscious thinks that they need to threaten my life. Like that would be my goal.
I feel like you're doing something right if you're getting death
You
threats.
feel me?
Yeah.
Like that means I'm doing something that's moving.
Exactly.
Moving the needle forward.
The first time I got one death threat, like years ago, over some dumb interview we did, that's the same thing you said. You're like,
Didn't you feel like you were on?
Yeah.
Like,
I was
you know
so
what?
afraid and I was ashamed. I was like, oh my God, I feel terrible. And you were like, no, you're doing it right. Keep going.
You're killing it.
Yeah, because I got death threats when I asked Britney Spears about Beyonce. The Britney Spears fans just attacked and they told me to kill myself. I was like, okay.
Whoa.
I made an impact.
That's a bit extreme.
I hope your message is a little bit more intense and like than comparing Britney Spears to Beyonce. Do more good with your message.
I will.
Please, you stand for more than that.
I love it.
So okay,
Both queens, by the way.
Amen. Truly. I want expectations.
The song.
Beautiful record.
Thank you.
You talk about, in the tweet you posted recently, you talk about duality, and that really is the music video. There's a light you, there's a dark you. Are there 2 different versions within you right now as you sit in front of us?
There's a million versions of me. I think there's a million versions in each of you. There's people you are in front of people. There's a person you are behind closed doors. There's a person you are with someone you love, like intimately. There's a person you are with your family. There's a person you are. And all of those different people are still you. They all still draw from like the energy source that is your soul.
Different shades.
They're different shades of blue. You know what I mean? Like different archetypes, you know, that we can fall under. And so this first video was an exploration of my 2 extremes. My really naive, innocent, like youthful self who is very hopeful and blissful in the world and really, really believes that everybody has a good heart and really believes that, you know, we can overcome this darkness that we're all surrounded by on a regular basis. And then there's the darker part of myself who is more, you know, violent in her thoughts about the way that things should be handled, or like more aggressive and demanding and you know, sensual and explorative of self, like, and that all is taboo for a woman to be, you know.
Would you say that version is realistic?
They're both hyperboles of who I really am. You know what I mean? Because they're archetypes. So they're there, and I fall into, like, depending on a situation that I'm presented in. Like, sometimes I'll have those naive elements to where, like, let's say if I approach a new person, right? And I think they're really cool, and they think I'm really cool, and everything's going great. So my naive self automatically is like, oh, look, like, oh, new friend. Like, this is great. I can get to know them. I can trust them. I can, like, become friends with them. And so I do become friends with them, right? But then all of a sudden, they switch up on me, and I notice that they're not exactly who I first perceived them to be. So then the other Lauren kicks in, and that's the protective Lauren who's not about to let anybody with her. So it's like those two Laurens very much exist in me, and all the in-between Laurens exist. You feel me?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Why did Dark Lauren...
Did the cauldron just like...
Yes,
That's why I'm
a little
laughing.
bit.
As soon as you started talking about Dark Lauren, that thing started going. I was like,
Oh, wow.
like, you're a witch, bro.
Yeah.
Why
There's a witch in the room, y'all.
Why did Dark Lauren kill Light Lauren?
She sacrificed her.
She sacrificed her for what?
You'll see.
Oh, so there's a longer story.
There's a whole story.
Like Thanos in the Avengers.
like Thanos.
Yeah.
There you go. Archetypes.
Exactly.
You refer to Expectations as a story, so is the album that is coming made up of different stories to tell a larger one?
So the music, I haven't given a story. You know what I mean? When I go in and make music, like, I'm trying to draw from the most real place I possibly can that day. And like, and some days that's like a fun me, and that's just like in a party mood. And then other days it's me that's like in a sad mood. And other days it's me in a hopeful mood. It's just different energies that I'm exploring. But each one of them tells a different story about the different selves. You feel me?
Yeah. So we get to understand you. So the story is you.
Me.
It's cool.
Thank you.
Way to go.
How do you... Is that your process? Is your process just going into the studio in your raw current state? Mm-hmm. Do you document inspiration? Do you write down lyrics? Do you
I write
your
all my
feelings?
lyrics. I write all my lyrics down by hand. And if you look at my journal, they're hilarious. Like, I'll be writing, and as I'm writing, I'm like writing lines, and I'm like, no, that's bad. And then I'll keep writing those. So then by the end of me writing a song, like, if these are the 2 pages, it's like one line is up here, one line's over here, the other one's over here, this one's over here. And as I'm singing it, I'm like trying to find it on the page. I'm like, I need to like write this down like straight. It's so it's messy, but it's also like I love it. I love playing with words and figuring out what exactly I want to say, because it's like, I don't know, we've been given, like, the words are such a cool tool to like communicate our hearts. So it's like I like exploring the different ways you can string them together.
You really could do anything.
Yeah.
And you could
alchemy.
You could tell stories. You could use so many different words, and words that might not even have like the most basic meaning of them or the most like generalized meaning of them.
You can also give new meanings to words.
That's
it. Yeah, that's the best. I love like writing abstractly too sometimes, like in a more poetic form that's more like, it's not so tangible and not so confessional, because Expectations is real confessional. Like the lyric is very like my stream of consciousness of what I'm thinking, and then rhyming a few inner things, you know. But some songs are just poems, more like you have to think about them. You can't just sit there and be like, I get what she means, unless like unless you're in my brain, or which I love about art, you read it and you're like, holy shit, like this is exactly how I'm feeling, but I never thought to express myself that way.
This is what it means to me.
Exactly.
I love songs like that, and I think we're in a phase of music where they're coming up more and more and more. And I never, they didn't totally go away, but I think more and more are more and more are coming back to the mainstream, and just like I don't know. Great stories have been lost, and I think they're on the rise, baby.
I think we've been hearing a lot of people's stories, but not really from the people performing them.
You know what? You hit the nail on the head. Do you think, as somebody who performs, can you ever fully invest yourself in a story that doesn't belong to you?
No, I'm not taking anybody's songs.
No, but can a performer, not you?
Oh,
but
sorry.
Somebody,
Excuse me.
Yeah, not you at all. I know it's all you.
I thought that was a direct question.
Oh no, but like, could any performer out there? Do you think it's possible?
I do believe it's possible. I think there's people who are stars who really embody and capture and communicate stories really beautifully in a way that connects to people. You know what I mean? I think that some people just have like a pull about them that makes people want to listen to them, and I think that that's just as admirable as someone who can write their own story and do the same thing. You know, it's just but those people have to be good A&Rs then, you know, because they have to be able to sift through the songs that are relative enough to them that they can communicate it in an authentic way, because otherwise it just doesn't click. And we all know that, like as an audience, anybody, even the person themselves will get that feeling, you know?
I mean, you kind of had to do that for years though, didn't you?
Yeah. And I did not connect. And it was obvious. And if it wasn't obvious, I'm a great actress. You should hit me up for some roles.
Nice.
I loved watching your dance break in the music video.
Oh my God, thanks.
Oh, it was so sexy.
Oh, well, thank you.
Beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Felt it. Like it was.
I can feel your frustration. It's awesome.
Dude, like, I wish I could do that. Not gonna lie.
I would love. Wait, can I please get a video of you attempting to do that
Yes.
choreography?
I'd love to see him try.
Give him the latex suit too.
I need it. I need that in my life.
As long as I'm wearing heels and latex.
Make him do the expectations challenge.
Oh,
Make him do it.
that, please.
Yes.
Comment below.
Comment below if you would like to see a video of Zach saying
Please.
in a latex outfit doing my choreography.
We all do.
So 2018 right now.
I love it.
What is the full expectation story? Like, why did you decide to write that one?
I didn't really decide to write it. It kind of wrote itself. I was just in a pissed off mood and didn't know how to express my feelings talking, because it just wasn't working or getting out right. So I wrote it. I wrote about it. Usually when I can't say something, I try to write about it, like a letter or a journal entry or a poem, just some way to express it through words, because I just feel better like putting it out through words. I don't know how
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just better at it.
It's like when you're mad at someone and you don't want to tell them directly, but you write a letter.
You write a letter,
but you never
about it.
send it.
Yeah, and
Like
then
that
when you
type
try
of
to tell
thing.
them directly, there's no way you can be as eloquent as you were in the letter.
100%.
Because you can catch yourself in the letter like, oh, no, that's too mean. Oh, no, wait, no, I don't really mean that. Like, you know what I mean? You take time to really think about how you want to say it.
I'm not going to ask who you were speaking to, but has that person heard it?
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
speaking about Ty Dolla Sign.
Yeah.
We're not done.
It was about time, but we spoke about it, and I showed it to him after I wrote. I was like, I'm good.
Now I'm
Thanks,
fine.
babe.
All good.
It worked out.
Did you feel like you were being a little crazy in the time?
No, because I don't think it's crazy to experience feelings of, especially considering where I'm coming from, because I've been in abusive relationships, emotionally abusive relationships. And as a woman who has been in that, and I speak for a lot of women when I say emotionally abusive relationships, because mentally people take this power hold of you and they kind of expect you to know where their heads are at, you know? And as someone who has I have really bad anxiety, and I have stuff that I get triggered by, and that's just that's not crazy, that's just me, you know what I mean? And so I was upset in the moment, and the lack of communication I was still upset about, you know what I mean? It was still, and I still think I was valid in being upset about the lack of communication, because the lack of communication is what essentially led to my worrying and getting out of hand with the worrying, which I shouldn't have done, and I actually dramatized for the sake of the song, because it doesn't happen every time. But it still was that kind of exploration again of that feeling of not being able to get a streamline of communication between you and your partner, just because one of you feels like I don't have to, you know, and you do have to if you want to be in a healthy relationship with someone.
How do you have any sort of relationship with any human being ever and not communicate?
It's true, but a lot of us are really present in them on a daily basis.
Yeah, you're right. but and maybe some of that fear of communication or lack of communication stems from a fear of confrontation.
Absolutely, always. And you don't want to hurt the person you love either. And you don't want to cause a problem. You don't want to like cause a scuffle. It would be cool, I think, if like we as a society got to a place where bringing up problems wasn't necessarily a need for confrontation. And that's what I say. I said, I say with no confrontation, I really wish we could talk about it instead. Like, I really wish we could just sit here and like, I'm upset about something, but I don't have to come at you in order for you to register that it's valid that I'm upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to be able to be like, hey, like, this is something that really hurt me. And for that reception to come in of like, oh, wow, something hurt you. How can we make this better? You feel me?
That's the real test of love, isn't it?
Exactly. I 100% think so.
It's how you solve problems.
As far
not
as
how
like,
you run
this is
from
the
them.
first like mature relationship I've been in my whole life. So yeah, that's what I'm learning through this love and this growth is like, communication is so important and valid. It's valid for me to want that and need that in order to be healthy, you know, or mentally healthy. And like, especially in the situation that I'm in right now where I'm discovering myself at a very rapid rate and again in front of the world, you know what I mean? Like, this is like the art that I'm making is super vulnerable, like really genuinely coming from a place in my soul. So like when I put it out in the world, it's not, it first of all, it takes time and effort and thought and energy to put it together. But then also once that's done and you put it out in the world, people gobble it up in 0.2 seconds and expect you to throw something else up ASAP.
While judging you in the process.
While judging you in the process for not being perfect enough or the caliber that you should have been at.
Yeah, or not matching their expectations.
Exactly, which is why Expectations was the first song. You feel me? So it's like, it's just, you can't please anybody but yourself. So I'm learning that one. Like, just make me happy, and that's that.
Do you have any expectations for yourself or that you set before entering this new chapter?
I guess I guess I do. Sometimes I do. Like, I try not to, and it's a constant battle because again, the voices happen, and I can hear the voices. I'm not deaf, you know, and I have eyes. I can see, I can read, you know. So those are all present, and they're constantly with my head. But then I'm building again that darker Lauren, that Lauren that protects herself, that defends herself, that doesn't allow for other people's noise to dictate who she is. I'm practicing being her as much as possible. And that takes effort, that takes energy, that takes like
trial and error, man.
Yeah, and it takes stopping yourself when you start talking to yourself in your head. Like, you know how hard that is?
Yeah.
Like in the middle of talking to yourself, you're like, bitch, stop. No, that's not true. That's just what fulanita de tal said on the internet. Like, who is she? Who is that person?
Nothing.
No one.
No, literally
a figment of my phone.
But it
like, I'll never know where they are in the world.
No, but
I don't even know where you live.
It sucks that we're even validating it right now. But it's the truth.
But it exists.
But the only way to do is that maturity, right? To get a handle on it.
Yeah, I think so. It's maturity, and it's also love for yourself to get a handle on it. Because it's easy to fall into the whole, I hate myself, they're so right, I'm a trash human being, I don't deserve anything. We all convince ourselves that we don't deserve anything good or happy, or, you know, because we up or we make a mistake or we have a failure along our path, and I used to think like that. I really did. Like, whenever I would fail at something, I'd be like that's why I didn't songwrite for a while, because I didn't know that I attempted a couple times and got discouraged by people I loved, and then it was just like, well, I can't do this, you know what I mean? I really let somebody convince me I couldn't write a damn song. Like, what? I can't do that to myself anymore.
And that's like scarring, right? Like that,
is.
It's hard to put pen to paper.
And that's just like something
that
one little thing as far as my art goes that like hurt me. And that's that's like a privilege compared to some of the things that people are told on a daily basis they are by people that they love. There are a lot of people who get beaten on by people that they love and really think that it's an expression of love because of the way that person manipulates them to believe. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's just there's so many different like layers to why we think we're undeserving. So I'm stripping away those layers every day.
Are you the sole person stripping away those layers? Has somebody helped you? Did somebody validate anything
Therapist.
that helped? That's, yeah.
Professionals.
Yeah, I've had a therapist who's great, sidekick who's great,
A new
Yeah.
puppy.
and I have a really amazing friends, a lot of really amazing females in my life who make me feel strong and validated and powerful, and a lot of men in my life who validate that what I expect from men isn't crazy. You know what I'm saying? A lot
good.
of educated and, you know, real ass men who understand what I'm talking about, understand what women are talking about, and don't question it and see it themselves and call other men out when they're wrong.
But it takes a real man.
It takes
to
a real
do that.
man. It does. It really does. And it takes a real man who's able to be self-analytical, because a lot of men, whether they like to admit it or not, have exercised this behavior
And they'll never look within themselves to fix
because
it.
they don't want to think that they're failures.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the ego,
Or
not
weak.
truth, you know?
You get it. I love it.
How long have you been planning your solo career?
I just started writing music in May.
Really? So the whole time you were in the group, you weren't thinking ahead about what you could be or what you could
Never.
do?
It's so crazy. Like, I wasn't, because I was not alive. I couldn't, I had zero inspiration.
Really? It
yeah.
sucked that much out of you?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was draining. It was really draining it taught me a lot, like a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about the industry. It taught me a lot about communication. It taught me a lot about like how to handle things. But it definitely took a lot of energy in that process. And that energy that I just didn't have it to put into art. Like, I didn't even think I thought I literally wrote about this. Like, I thought that I had lost my talent, that it was gone, that it had been taken away because I wasn't using it. And like, I had been punished. It was literally crazy.
That's scary.
Yeah. It was scary because as an artist, it's like that's the only thing that I have.
That's
you
your
know?
identity.
That's my identity. That was my identity for so long when I was younger. Like, that's how I expressed myself in all kinds of ways. I would dance, choreograph, sing, play piano. I used to like run around painting, taking printer paper from my mom's room. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was constantly creating, and that was just my nature. And everyone knew me as like the artsy kid. Like, I didn't have to prove that or question that, you know? And then I got thrown into a situation where I was 100% questioned, and it was like, oh, you don't understand art. You can't possibly have taste, being your situation. And it's like, I didn't, what? Like, but that, and I was what, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Those are very formative
Yes,
years
it's
of your life where you're trying to figure out who you are. So if people are telling you you're not an artist and that's all you think you are, you lose yourself, you know? You're like, who am I? And into the ether you go.
But is therapy how you find yourself again?
I mean, I don't go as often as I probably should, but honestly, I find myself through prayer.
Reflection?
I'm really spiritual. Yeah, I am very spiritual, and I need that. That's knowing that there's something greater than me that's in control of everything gives me peace of mind, and I know it's real. Like, I don't have to question it, and in my heart I know it is. So learning to trust that, building a relationship with that, and strengthening that, and figuring out ways that I can physically do things to strengthen that relationship, focusing on that and myself, because that essentially, I believe that relationship with God is just relationship with self.
Yeah.
Like, learning about your most inner workings and working on them for the sake of like clearing your conscience and your heart of the things that you know don't resonate with your true self, you know, and that the person that God created you to be, which is just truth and likeness of light. That's what we all are, you know. And so that for me is what keeps me sane, like working on that and knowing that I have guidance keeping me in light at all times.
I really appreciate the way you just defined that and the way you explained it.
Thanks.
because
It's very personal though. Like I believe in every single way that anybody chooses to identify with God. It doesn't matter what religion you choose to identify with, what rituals you choose to identify with, whether you even choose to do that. Like there's so many ways that you can just be quote unquote godly and light being, you know? It doesn't have to be by definition or rhetoric at all. I don't believe a lot of rhetoric encompasses what God is at all, actually.
I went to Catholic school for way too long. How long did you go for? What year to what year?
From pre-K 3 to 11th grade when I dropped out to start working. I went to a boy-girl private Catholic school, and then I went to an all-girl private Catholic preparatory school.
I did 8 years in boy girl, and it was rough. The all girl thing. I mean, what do you learn from that environment?
A lot.
Yeah,
A lot.
because that's it from the teachers.
It was
to
the
kids.
most empowering and destructive environment I had ever been in, because it was like run by women, and I was getting a feminist education. I was empowered to be courageous and confident, and to have, you know, to be educated and confident in being educated, and not like I was indoctrinated with that too, you know, which is amazing. But then at the same time, young adolescent girls all by themselves in one area is a lot of drama and a lot of backstabbing and a lot of talking and insecurity and, you know, all those things. I was a very giving person. So when I give myself a lot to somebody and then they meet me back with, oh, they talk about me behind my back, or they didn't invite me to this thing, or like
It's
this or that,
devastating.
it was devastating. Yeah. So I went through a lot as far as like friendships and stuff go, and like finding myself. I didn't get a chance to really be 100% what I would have liked to have been in high school, you know what I mean? Because I was so like sensitive, and so like I kept a lot of like my true self inside. But then I was also confident. So it's like, again, that duality, those two Laurens that are constantly present. Like
I totally understand it.
I'm not one-dimensional at all.
Wow. I'm processing all of it, and it's really fascinating, but it's also I get it. I identify with it. I do get it. It's hard. High school in general is very, very, very hard, and then to leave to go and do what you did.
Yeah.
But and I don't know, even down to the uniforms, man. And I know
I loved uniforms.
Did you like it because you had something to wear every day?
Yeah, and I didn't have money like that, so there's no way in I could have been at any of those schools where you had to like be wearing the latest fashions. Or I would have been there, would be like, you're poor. I would have been like, you.
Yeah, but whatever.
Yeah, I loved not having to think about uniforms and even being in an all-girls school. Like I didn't have to do my makeup or my hair. I would wake up in the morning, pick my hair up just like this, put a liga in it, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, put my outfit on. All right, bye. Gonna go to choir. Like
10 minutes.
literally. Like,
So I still do it.
there was no.
So easy.
It's so easy. So easy.
You can
Do you have a
go.
uniform you wear
Oh, no,
every day?
go ahead.
No.
No, but
Is that your uniform?
this is my uniform at Wayne's World. Constantly.
Wayne's World hat and a black tee.
Yeah.
What were your feelings when you guys decided to take a break? I don't know how much of a break it really is, but because you're that young still, and you have this whole future ahead of you, but you're like, you don't know who you are at the time. Like, were you happy, scared, sad?
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah, it was all of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt real free when I found out that we were going to, when we all spoke about
Yeah.
that happening. And yeah, it was just like an unleashing of a lot of feelings, because there was like the first round where I thought everything was going to end, and then that was when I went through my more like breakdown type, what am I going to do, who am I, where am I going to go, what if we get shelved, what is going to happen, like whatever, all of that kind of happened then. And then that breakdown led me to figuring myself out in the next year that I had, and to start doing that. And then I started working on features, and I started, you know, getting in the studio and just building up my confidence and building up like my trajectory of like what I even like, you I just started like thinking about myself for once and what my plan was gonna be. But then like I didn't really delve into any plan until like I told you in May when I actually started writing my like the music that will actually be on the album, you know?
You needed that time.
I needed it.
Yeah.
I needed it. I needed I needed everything to have happened exactly the way it did, to be honest, because everything and exactly how it unraveled was for me personally, it taught me so much about myself and my character that was able to get me to come to a point where I was like, oh, I am exactly who I say I am.
And that's what you wanted.
I know for a fact that I stuck to my own conscience from top to bottom and did exactly what I needed to do as far as my role went and was committed and was 100% honest and truthful in that. And that's all I needed to, because now I'm in a secure spot like I told you of where I know who I am. So now it's like I know the basis of who I am. So now I'm just unraveling her. Now I'm just peeling back layers of the lotus flower. That's it.
Does that excite you to get?
Yeah, I'm having so much fun. I'm having so much fun. I do whatever the I want. I do whatever I want whenever I want. I love it. Shout out Russ. Like literally, it's just it's kind of weird sometimes because I'll call Tara and I'll be like, hey, so like, what am I doing? And she's like, you're off. What do you want to do? I'm like,
I don't know.
should I work on a song today? I can choose when I want to go to the studio. I could choose who I'm in the studio with. I can choose how I want this rollout to go, how I want my art to be, like who I want to work with, what I want to do on stage, what I want to wear.
Yeah, right.
Like without thinking of the color scheme that's been picked.
It sounds like just basic things that you should have all been able to
it's
do.
little that you wake up in the morning being an individual person you don't even realize.
I feel like it's somebody leaving prison, to be honest with you. Like that's the way it sounds. Like
no.
But like it's the little things like waking up and the food, the outfits.
You're right. It's the freedom for sure. It is the freedom.
So, okay, album. Do we have a date?
No.
How far into it are we? Like how many songs you got?
Oh, I've got like a lot of songs. I have like 40 songs.
Wow.
Sweet.
But I'm not giving you 40 songs.
That's a lot.
In an age where music consumption is way too high, you can have
It's true.
a record a week for quite some time.
It is true. At this rate, unless you're Frank Ocean, then you can get away with
years
giving
off.
us years off. Dude, I aspire to be like that man. He's just
Is that like
brilliant.
The ultimate creative goal, right?
Yeah, that your shit is so good, you drop it, and 2 years later you can come back and everyone's like thirsty waiting for it, and it comes out of nowhere and everyone's on it. Like, yeah, that's the type of shit I hope to create at some point in my career, if not now.
What dictates that type of demand? Is it the art? Is it the branding? Is it everything?
Art. I think it's resonating art. Stuff that like he wrote, like you're getting a piece of his soul every time he gives you music, you know?
Do you feel like you give up a piece of your soul?
Yeah, I'm definitely giving pieces of my soul, for sure.
Different pieces from top to bottom?
From top to bottom, different pieces.
Will you be talking politics in your music, or is that you're not going to separate that?
No, no, that's
I know you're very vocal, but I didn't know if you're going to take that into
100% my
your music.
identity. But I'm not like, it's not like a preachy political scheme planned. Like when I write songs, there's like one song that's intentionally political where I specifically address how I feel personally. It's only about like my personal exploration of the state of the world and what's going on. And then I have allusions to the concepts of like freedom and empowerment and life and exploration of life and what's going on, you know? I just believe that that's an artist's job, though, is to like be aware of what's going on around them and to reflect on it.
Is it a responsibility?
It's mine. I don't know if it's anyone else's, but it's mine.
What's your what part of this whole process fulfills you the most?
Writing out my feelings and bringing them to life, bringing the songs to life. Because I see them when I write them. Like I see the visual for them. And then I love the process of like developing that visual. Because I have really dope like female creatives around me that like we work together to really get to like the nitty gritty of how we want to exactly say something, whether it's like symbolically or like every single edit, every single moment and everything is intentional, you know?
Yeah.
So
do you like breaking it down like that?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I am so OCD, like everything is is very everything has a purpose, that serves the artistic integrity.
It's people who understand that really genuinely succeed, and they succeed with like honesty and just real sense of being in everything that they do. It's cool.
Thanks.
Why are you a journal person?
Because I gotta put these thoughts somewhere.
You don't use your notes on your phone?
I do sometimes.
Yeah?
My notes in my phone are definitely, when I say journal, I definitely mean like any form of writing.
Got it.
Yeah, I have physical journals. I have like a red composition notebook, and then I have a red moleskin, and then I have my notes. And then I have like all of the pads of paper that I've come across in my lifetime that I write some dope on or like do a cool doodle on that I'm like, I'm just gonna
keep it.
take that with me.
And then you had to turn it into a hoarder.
I am a hoarder. I have a whole memory box that I put a bunch of stuff in.
Cute.
Do you look through them? Have you looked through them recently?
I do it like every couple years. I'll look through it.
That's cool.
Yeah. And just kind of reminisce. I put like birthday cards and like Polaroids and all that kind of stuff.
It's like real life Instagram.
Yeah, it's like real life Instagram.
So weird.
Guys, that's how we used to do it.
Right?
Okay, that's how we used to do it.
Memory box.
Wow.
When a picture of it wasn't necessarily the only proof.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Oh man.
I feel like you've said so much. We've talked about a lot. I want a date on the album. Not gonna get it, but no rush because
Thank you.
when it flows, it flows. When it happens, it happens.
Exactly.
You and the universe dictate it.
We will.
Wow.
I have two quick questions.
Go, Dan.
First, are you and Ty working on music together, or is it important to separate your relationship and your career?
Well, I mean, we're both musicians.
Yeah, of
so,
course.
yeah, at the end of the day, people are going to tie it regardless.
Yeah,
but,
tie it. Hey.
Hey. But yeah, no, I mean, we've gotten in a couple times, but we haven't really solidified too much. We'll see.
Is there anything that you've recorded that actually exists together?
Of him and I?
Yeah.
In your phone?
No, wait. No.
That's the one that's already out.
Oh, no, that record. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I feel like an idiot now.
No, you're fine. You were like, what?
was like-
He's
I
like,
was like-
miss it?
he's like,
in my
he's like,
phone?
my phone. Let
I
me
was
check.
like-
Did you send me something?
Yeah. Wait, did you tweet me? Did you airdrop? Wow. Great. Comment below on how I just looked like an idiot.
No, you didn't. You're fine.
So after that record, nothing?
I think we might have like one other thing that we like started working on, but we haven't finished anything. So
I don't envy the position you're in because I learned growing up you don't really poop where you eat sometimes. Does that make sense? You
never poop where you eat.
never in life, but also like in professional, right? Like you don't like you can't do both. It mixes the waters. It gets really rough and kind of
Do you mean like personal life and public life?
professional, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it's actually kind of funny. I was thinking about that the other day, and I was just like, it's so funny to me, like when people ask me about my relationship and like details about it. And no offense, like it's casual. Everyone does it.
Of course.
But I always wonder, like, do y'all ask like coworkers that you don't know personally about their relationship?
I sure do.
No,
You don't? You do? Like
Come on,
coworkers
Dan.
that you don't know personally? Like you're
Oh,
just going to
that-
go up to like the guy who works at the front and be like, hey, so you and your wife, y'all good? Or is that drama still kicking?
Dan, I'll attach
no,
a mic
no.
to you right
Like
now.
that's
Go.
just rude,
No, I thought you
right?
meant the
You don't
people
do
you
that.
knew.
It's considered rude.
Yeah.
Very much
It's so interesting to me though that people feel entitled to know about like my personal relationships.
I think just people think they know you.
Yeah,
You know
right?
what I mean?
They just think like 'cause
You
they
don't know
me.
me, but I know you. You know what I mean?
But then it's that concept. It's
Yeah.
like you might know me, but I still don't know you.
But you need to just approach these types of situations. I tell people all the time, like they're human beings because that's what they are. You don't know them.
For real
Treat them
people.
treat them like any other person you're about to get to know.
You feel me?
I
I feel you.
Well, the second question I had was, if you were offered the Amy Winehouse role in that biopic, would you take it?
Whoa.
I would take it in a heartbeat.
Dude, I'd take it.
Put that out into the universe.
I would love that. Would
manifest.
putting it out in the universe.
Yeah.
Can
I
you
don't
do
know. Yeah, I would love to. That would be insane.
You got the voice, you got the look. I see that the comparisons all the time.
Thanks. That means a lot.
Can you
I
do
would
an
love
English
to do
accent?
An English accent, yeah.
Ooh.
I can absolutely do it, yeah.
This is not an audition, but it is an audition.
Yeah, I'm just over here auditioning to be Amy, so could you just hit me up if you want me to be Amy? Thanks. Thanks.
That's Let's just ship that one.
That was my
out there.
audition. Send it off.
Yeah. Bravo. Lauren Jauregui. Thank you.
Yes.